Family shunned me at the reunion, after a decade of no contact. They stepped into my beach house. Clerk asked, they paused, I'm the owner. I grinned. The email landed on a Tuesday, subject line bright and forced. Wilson Family Retreat 2025. RSVP by Friday. It wasn't meant for me. I knew that before clicking, but I clicked anyway. The names were all there. My sister Natalie, her husband, their 2 kids, Aunt Margaret from Raleigh, Uncle Henry probably still in that goofy fishing hat, even Cousin Sophie, who once borrowed my prom dress and swore she didn't. But not me. No trace of Laura Wilson. Not even a typo. Just a blank where I should have been. Exclusion like that doesn't scream. It hums, quiet and constant, like a fridge you only notice when it stops. I sat in my Santa Monica office, surrounded by glass walls, deadlines, and a corner view I'd clawed my way to as a corporate strategist. The room felt cold, despite the California sun. I reread the email, my name absent, like it had never belonged. I almost shut my laptop. Almost. But something made me open a new tab. I typed the address of the beach house in Wilmington, North Carolina, where the Wilsons had held every reunion. A sprawling whitewashed home, porch swing creaking, fairy lights twinkling. The last place I saw Dad laugh before his stroke stole his voice. There it was, a new listing. Not for rent. For sale. No family text, no call, no heads up. Just words, price slashed, seller motivated, deed under review. I knew the agent, same woman who handled Grandma's estate. And just like that, I felt the air shift. They were selling it, quietly, like they'd sold me out of their lives. I wasn't angry, not yet. I turned to the bookshelf, eyes landing on the turquoise shell Dad gave me when I was 9. You think in tides, Laura, he'd said, brushing off sand. Don't let them shrink you. That's when the idea sparked. They'd erased me from every invite, but I still knew how to sign my name. Being erased isn't announced. It creeps in. A missed call, a family photo without you, an empty seat at dinner no one questions. I tried at first. I sent Christmas gifts, joined the family group chat when it still included me, flew to Wilmington for Thanksgiving, even when tickets cost more than my rent. I offered to cover Mom's mortgage when Natalie's kids needed braces. I played the youngest daughter's role. Show up, stay quiet, be useful. But usefulness has a shelf life. Natalie owned the spotlight. Warm, photogenic, loud in a way people called charming. She threw baby showers with custom cocktails, designed reunion t-shirts, once called me from a craft store to ask if I preferred teal or coral for the beach house tables. I don't think I'm coming, I said. That's okay, Laura, she replied. We'll save you a plate. Nobody did. After Dad's stroke, I flew to Wilmington alone, sat by his hospital bed while Natalie was too overwhelmed and Mom couldn't face him. I fed him, read from his favorite Steinbeck novel. When he could talk, his voice cracked. You came. That winter, I asked Mom about estate planning, not for money, just to understand the house, the accounts, the trust Dad mentioned. She smiled tightly. Natalie and I have it covered. Don't worry your pretty head. I stopped asking. The last time I tried visiting the beach house, the spare key was gone. Natalie said they'd changed the locks after a break-in, but no one mentioned a break-in. I started skipping holidays, sent cards that went unanswered, stopped correcting their Facebook posts calling me busy or distant. One day, Mom posted a throwback of Natalie and Dad on the beach at sunset. I'd taken that photo, standing just off frame. She cropped me out. That was when I stopped sending gifts. I didn't stop watching, though. My old neighbor in Wilmington, now a paralegal named Emma, kept me in the loop, screenshots, email threads I'd been dropped from. They think you vanished, she said once. But you're just listening. I wasn't gone. I was waiting. And those who forget you fastest are often the ones most scared when you return. I didn't buy the house for revenge. I bought it because I was done pretending my absence was a mistake. The listing had been up for 13 days, buried in a real estate newsletter I nearly deleted. The house wasn't even under the Wilson name anymore, tucked into an LLC. Natalie's doing, no doubt, to keep things clean. I knew that game. I'd seen it in corporate strategy. But I wasn't mad. I was precise. I printed the listing, called a property law friend, and set up a call with Emma that night. She ran a title search in 10 minutes and found a gem, a clause in Dad's trust. If the estate fell into delinquency, missed taxes, lapsed insurance, non-disclosure, the secondary beneficiary, me, had full claim to the title. The taxes were late, the insurance expired. Not negligence, arrogance. Natalie and Mom probably thought the house could sit half-used, half-claimed, forever. But Dad had left a back door, just in case. Emma's voice was soft. If you want it, Laura, it's yours. No fight needed. I didn't answer right away. I stared at the turquoise shell, still whole after all these years, Dad's words echoing. You think in tides, not waves. You come back stronger. That night, I opened a spreadsheet. My finances, stock options, savings. I wasn't rich like Natalie's Instagram suggested, but I'd built something solid, quiet mine. 2 days later, I contacted the agent. She didn't know me until I said, Laura, daughter of James Wilson.
She paused.
Oh, you. The other one. Yes, the other one. I signed the purchase under the trust clause, no fanfare, no notice. Then I opened the booking portal and reserved the master suite for 3 nights. Check-in Friday. Guest name, Miss L. Wilson. Preferences, Perrier Jewett on ice, firm pillows, cotton sheets, full privacy. When the confirmation came, I didn't smile or cry. I just sat still. They'd erased me from the reunion. I'd just written myself onto the deed. I arrived early, not to confront, but to see the house before they did. It looked smaller, or maybe I'd grown. The porch swing still sagged, shutters needed paint, the front lantern swapped for a cheap solar bulb. But it breathed the same, swaying with the ocean breeze, like it had waited for me. I checked the champagne was on ice, sheets turned down, my name correct in the registry. Then I left, parked 2 streets over in a rented sedan, and waited. At 6:42 p.m., Natalie's white SUV rolled in. Her husband climbed out, wrestling luggage. Their kids spilled out, bickering. Natalie emerged last, sunglasses perched like a tiara. Mom followed, riding with Uncle Henry, dressed in resort linen, pearls at her throat, the picture of Southern denial. They dragged bags to the steps, laughing, shouting vague directions. Natalie led them to the front desk, then stopped cold. The clerk, a young woman with a pixie cut and a polite smile, spoke like she was reading the forecast. I'm sorry, I don't have your names on the reservation. Are you with Miss Laura Wilson's party? Natalie blinked. I'm sorry, whose party? Miss Laura Wilson, the clerk repeated. She has the full reservation. The name landed like a glass shattering. Silence fell. Not the kind that waits, but the kind that reshapes everything. I stepped out of the car not for drama, but because it was time. My heels clicked on the tile as I entered, calm, certain. I didn't look at Natalie. I can clarify, I said to the clerk. I'm Miss Wilson. The deed finalized 2 weeks ago. Natalie turned, face taut. You bought the house? Yes. Mom's voice was faint, confused. But why would you do this? I met her eyes, not angry, just done. Because I was never invited. But I was never gone. Natalie stepped forward, arms rigid. You think this is funny? Hijacking our family trip to prove a point? No, I said. It settles something. I handed my ID to the clerk. Anyone not on my guest list should be escorted out, but don't be harsh. They're family. The clerk nodded. Behind me, no one spoke. Not Natalie, not Mom, not Uncle Henry. The silence spoke for me. They left the desk without a word, no shouting, just stiff shoulders and a quiet that trailed like smoke. I didn't follow. They knew now. That was enough. Or so I thought. The next morning, a news van parked beyond the hedges, white with blue lettering. A reporter in a button-down, hair stiff with gel, squinted into a camera like he'd cracked a scandal. I didn't open the door, but when the segment aired, my phone exploded. Texts, emails, a voicemail from an old coworker. Is this true? Did you steal your family's house through a loophole while your dad was sick? The headline screamed, Daughter uses trust clause to seize family's coastal estate. They painted me as a schemer in stilettos, quoting a family source, claiming dad was in cognitive decline, manipulated into signing away his legacy. No name, but I knew Natalie's knack for playing the victim. I didn't cry or fire off a statement. I called Emma. I need you, I said.
She didn't ask why.
Files in 15. She sent a folder. Dated screenshots of texts between Natalie and Mom. Don't worry, Laura's not coming. She makes it about herself. She's too busy to care about family. Don't feel bad, excluding her. Audio files, too, including a speakerphone call from a lunch. Natalie's voice, sharp. Laura was too fragile for this family. Let her rot in her condo. We're better off. The key was a video from 2 summers ago. Dad sat on the porch, blanket over his legs, chipped mug in hand. I was just off frame. I want Laura to have this place, he said, voice steady. Natalie makes things loud. Laura makes them last. I hadn't watched it since we recorded it, saved for a moment like this. The next morning, I uploaded everything to a secure drive and sent it to one reporter I trusted, who'd written about inheritance disputes before. No captions, just, this is a full story. Decide what matters. It didn't go viral, it didn't need to. By afternoon, the headline was pulled, replaced with a quiet correction. My inbox load. Emma texted, they're quiet. You ready? I looked at the ocean, black under moonlight. Yes. The Wilmington courthouse smelled of dust and disinfectant. I arrived early alone, in a navy dress grandma called steel-willed blue, a folder tucked under my arm. Natalie was already there, in a white pantsuit, lips a tight line, fingers tapping her phone nervously. Mom sat beside her, spine too straight, pearls trembling. She glanced at me once, then away. The clerk called. Wilson versus Wilson. Petition for injunction on disputed property, claiming undue influence and elder manipulation. Their lawyer went first, slick and young, tossing out intent, vulnerability, coercion. He lingered on estranged, letting it hang. I didn't flinch. When my turn came, I stood, no theatrics. Your Honor, I'd like to submit video and audio evidence of my father's intent. The judge nodded, glasses slipping as the bailiff dimmed the lights. The video played. Dad, blanket wrapped, voice clear. I want Laura to have this place. Natalie makes things loud. Laura makes them last. She's the only one who came after the fall. The only one who didn't ask for anything. Then his final words. It's not about fairness. It's about memory. The audio followed, Natalie's voice. Let her rot in her condo. She was never part of this family. Should have been easier to control. Silence settled, heavy, resigned. The judge tapped his pen. This court finds no grounds for the petition. The evidence confirms the deceased's clarity and intent. The plaintiff's language suggests exclusion, not misunderstanding. He removed his glasses. This court enforces law, not emotional wounds. The law is clear. He struck the gavel. Petition denied. Natalie stood, fists clenched but still.
Mom sat, eyes glassy, dry.
I gathered my folder and walked out, not looking back. A reporter's mic pushed forward on the steps, half a question. Anything to say to your family? I paused.
No, I said.
I said it already, just quieter. I kept walking. The house was quiet when I returned. No suitcases, no voices, just the ocean's hum and shutters rattling in the breeze. It looked the same but lighter, like something had drained from the walls. Noise, denial. I walked through slowly, tracing the banisters with grain, smoothing the hallway rug, letting the silence sort what stayed and what left. In Dad's old office, I opened the desk's bottom drawer, untouched for years. There it was, the wind chime we'd made, seashells on fishing line, blue thread frayed, my 9-year-old initials, LW, faint on a shell. I sat on the floor, untangling it, not to make it perfect, but because some things matter even when they're worn. Emma arrived with wine and paper towels. You didn't think I'd let you in without cleaning windows, did you? She grinned. We worked in silence, scrubbing away more than dust. Years of dismissal, of being footnotes in someone else's story. At sunset, I hung the wind chime outside the kitchen window. It caught the breeze, dancing like it remembered how. Over wine on the porch, Emma asked. What now? I looked to the horizon. They said I drifted, but I didn't go anywhere. They just chose not to see me. We didn't toast or celebrate. We sat, glasses in hand, watching the sea breathe. That night, I turned off the lights room by room, from the inside. If you've been written out of your own story, you're not alone. There are more of us than they think, people who didn't leave, just weren't called back. The silence doesn't win this time.